Hello and welcome to the Inventors Arena. I'm Ed and this is Scott. And today we're going to discuss how do I make money from my invention. Scott, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, this is a topic we discuss a lot because there have been about 12 million patents filed in the United States, and only about 5% of the people make money from their idea. And we're not happy about that. Every time we discuss it, we're not happy about that topic. We need more successful inventors out there. And it takes a combination of things, but we're going to talk a little bit about money today and making sure you budget and have money and you don't run out of money as part of that process, because that's something that we see as a common theme among a list of other things, like not a good business plan, not finding the right investor, not knowing who your potential customers are, not filing the right patent and getting protection. There are a number of reasons, right?
That's right. Yeah, so many inventors are creative and see solutions to problems, right? Many inventors feel like they need to do it all themselves, unfortunately. All the development, all the financing, and all of that, and all alone quite often.
Have we ever seen anybody that could do all of that? Have we ever met one inventor that had all of those skill sets? I don't think so.
No, usually what happens is they try to do it all themselves, and then they run out of energy and money and time. So we're really trying to add to helping on that. So that's kind of why the channel, and that's why the resources we have. And so keep on bringing the content, right?
Have you ever noticed that it's easy to spend money, but it's challenging to make money? And that's something that inventors face as well along the way. And usually they start out, they have the idea, they have the spark, and they don't know what to do with it. And you have different options. You have the idea, you could just sell it to somebody else, sell the idea. You could license it to somebody else and say, hey, just send me a check every month on that. I really don't want to do this. Or you can be really into it and say, I am going to go all the way to manufacturing and distribution on this idea. And some people will do that and are very successful with it. So the solution kind of varies from person to person. And, we have in our program, we help them decide what is the best approach to use.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's not the same for everybody. And so, by the way, if you like our content that we're talking about today, please like and subscribe.
Yes, hopefully it's very helpful.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's talk about that running out of money thing.
Yes, it's a common theme, isn't it, for a lot of inventors, because they start out, they have their own money, and very early on, they run out of their own money.
Yes.
And then they have to decide, what is the good solution to this? Now, there's a whole number of things we talk about in other shows about going to your friends and family and investors to get it. But what we're really thinking about here is looking at it from the end and looking backwards on how are you going to monetize this idea?
Yeah.
How are you going to make money, whatever that money amount is for you? As we said, you could just sell the idea, you could license, you could get royalty payments, you could sell it, you can go all the way through, partner with a manufacturer.
Yeah, there's all kinds of options, and there's pros and cons to each, right? And everybody likes different things. Everybody's strong or weak at different things. So,
and as we said, the con is you don't want to run out of money.
Yeah, and like a lot of people, I think, try to get into that manufacturing, and then next thing they're putting inventory to the top of their garage, and then they're working all night, and they're like, this is not what I bargained for. I just wanted to be an inventor, right?
And their cash flow is tied up in their inventory, and your investor is calling saying, when are you going to move that product? Yeah, that's pretty common.
Yeah, it's a good thing not to run out of money and to follow a proven process, right?
Yeah, and one way that we see and we help a lot is with the licensing agreement aspect of it. So why don't you share a little bit about that with us?
Yeah, so when you get to licensing, so there's the manufacturing that you could sell it outright, but then there's the licensing thing, and a lot of people consider that because then that doesn't generally cash strap you, and it means that you're looking at it more of a passive income. So at the end of the month, you get your check and you're not putting all your money into inventory, and you're not figuring out marketing and sales and on. And kind of running a factory and all that other stuff. So it's a good way for a company that is established to say, wow, that's a good invention. I really like that. That would add super to our product line. And we will pay you for the rights to do that. So, and then at the end of the month, after you've negotiated and done whatever you've done, you get your royalty check. So that seems to be a pretty good fit for most. All the information should be outlined in the licensing agreement. There's quite a bit to know about licensing. Generally, you'll get a licensing attorney that specializes in your state to go over it with you and negotiate. But you want to make sure that you've got the terms that are favorable and that you understand all the terms and that they're going to work well for you over the long haul, right? Like to say there's many factors involved when licensing your product, such as the royalty percentage. That's one thing, right? The length of the royalty, the number of units sold, upfront money. Some of it can get paid to you, or you can say, no, I'll wait and take my money later. And whether or not the licensing agreement will be exclusive, because some folks will say, nope, I only want exclusive, or I'm absolutely okay with non-exclusive, as long as you don't sell my competitor down the road or whatever, right? But
Yeah.
it's very negotiable, and I would encourage anyone doing it to be flexible. Obviously, ask your attorney, go by their advice if it makes sense, but be flexible when negotiating. You should want to make money on it and also get to a win-win situation so that the licensor and the licensee are both on winning terms with it.
So it sounds like that's something you don't want to do on your own, try to negotiate your own terms and conditions.
Yeah, it's always the possible thing. Generally, you can do pro se on anything, but again, it goes back to the thing. You're not good at everything, right? And when it's things that are a whole bunch of money on the line, or whether the deal's going to go through or not, I would advise to go the way of getting the professional help.
And all of that falls back into what we talk about all the time about creating a plan from the very beginning all the way through to whatever monetization is to you, whether licensing or selling or whatever it is, and making sure you have the resources that you need to get you all the way to that end game that you're looking for. And we see a lot of people that, frankly, they run out of money before they reach that end game. And that's why we have a 5% success rate and a 95% failure rate.
Yeah.
And
let's switch those two numbers around.
Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it? That's that would be good. There are lots of resources out there, by the way, that you can look at for ideas. We're giving you some right here. Hopefully you like and subscribe to our content. That you can. The internet is full of resources, good and bad, that you can use. But we also suggest you go to inventor groups. Mm-hmm. We go around, we present it in inventor groups for their workshops. There's great value to learning what's in the room at an inventor group. So we strongly suggest you do that. And there might even be a licensing attorney in the room.
Yeah, or an investor, or there could be, the biggest thing is to talk it up sometimes, right? Because sometimes there's mentors in the room and they'll say, oh yeah, I was strongly thinking of manufacturing out of my garage when I was 25 years old, but I learned by the time I was 26 and a half that I don't want another job all night or whatever, right? And that experience really comes into play. And sometimes those inventor groups, they're just great resources, right?
Yeah. The number of people that we have discovered over the years that think they're going to manufacture their product, and then when they look at it to see how much everything costs, the inventory, raw materials, equipment, employees, they say, can we sit down and talk about a license agreement?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I always like to encourage, that's part of what this channel is about, is really encouraging inventors. And I would say NASA says a couple of encouraging slogans. First one, dare mighty things. I think that's pretty cool. And failure is not an option. That's my favorite. In fact, when I was down at NASA, I bought my daughter's cups with that on it. So, and I got a question for Scott. Who are the next three slogans from? Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. And the next one, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. And the last one, opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. What do you think said that, Scott?
Well, that has to be our friend that we study all the time, Thomas Edison. And I'm familiar with him because his winter home is in Fort Myers, Florida, where my sister lives. And I've spent time going through his laboratory down there and learning that his light bulbs in his home work for like 20 or 30 years beyond his death, because light bulbs in his day weren't built with planned obsolescence in them like they are today. So they lasted forever.
That's amazing. You might have to go do a live show when you're down there visiting your sister sometime.
We'll have to do that. That's a great idea. So
yeah.
if you like our content and you have some ideas that you want us to discuss on our channel, please feel free to reach out and let us know what problems you're facing as you're going from your concept all the way through cash. It's a lonely, difficult journey if you don't have people like us that you can call upon to help along the way. We encourage you to go to our website, theinventorsarena.com. We have a program there that can help you get from concept to cash, but we also have at the bottom of our page a map of all the inventor groups across the United States. And we strongly recommend everyone find one local to you and to attend as often as possible.
Get engaged.
Yeah, there will be people in the room with solutions and ideas, and maybe there's a manufacturer who can help you, or maybe there's that licensing attorney that will say, let's schedule lunch next week and see what we can do to bring you to market.
All kinds of resources.
Yeah. So we encourage you to do that. We hope you like our content. If you do, we hope that you will like and subscribe, and you'll come back and visit us next week.
Excellent. See you next week.
The Inventors